A baby's gotta do what a baby's gotta do. Welcome back to Hats Off Sorting, the show where we sort the podcast. I'm going to keep saying show. The podcast where we sort characters from your favorite movies and shows into Hogwarts houses. This is Ron.
This is Peeves.
And Fred.
And we will be your podcasters today. Content and spoiler warning. We will deep dive into these shows and into Harry Potter as well. If necessary, you may get spoiled. We are also all grown up here, so we may discuss mature themes or content, and we may use mature language. We make no promises.
May.
As you can probably tell, today we are talking about Rugrats.
I was going to try to hum or do the theme song, and I can't think of it right now.
I might have been slightly obsessed with the show as a kid.
This is my childhood.
So Rugrats was the first released August 11th in 1991.
I was 2 months old.
I was possibly conceived at that point. I don't know.
Hey!
I was born a year later. Oh, I was not quite conceived because I was born almost exactly a year later. So it would have been a little too long. I was born July a year later. And it is set in California.
Woo!
Yeah.
And it's great. I love fucking Rugrats. It's amazing.
I just love the fact that we were rewatching this show for the purpose of this podcast, this show. And my mother walks in are you guys seriously watching Rugrats right now? in our adult ages. And it was fantastic because I actually enjoyed it so much.
It's so good.
Today,
up.
Yeah, a lot of these shows and stuff that or even movies sometimes, they don't hold up to the test of time. You're like, oh my god, I watched this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, guys. When Disney Plus came back out and you rewatched all of those shows and we were like, why did I watch this?
Dude, some of them, and then there's this one specific one that I believe is on the list, Gargoyles, and it was one of my favorite ones growing up, and I started watching when Disney Plus came out, and it totally is still a good show.
Oh yeah, that one holds up. There's a few. Kim Possible holds up. Gargoyles holds up.
Rugrats holds up.
Rugrats holds up.
Yep.
It definitely does.
And if you haven't rewatched it, honestly, you should, because we also rewatched it with quite an eye. We were like, wow. What are these babies doing? Where are the parents?
Yeah. We definitely judged the parents pretty hardly, too.
Yeah, we did. The parents are... I will say, too, we're not talking about the parents.
We're not. We're just talking about the babies.
We will not be sorting them, mostly because there's just a ton of characters. Mm-hmm. And also because in order for these babies... And even when they get older, for these kids to have as many crazy adventures as they do, the parents kind of have to be slightly removed, and it makes them come off as slightly neglectful. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily think that's true. I think this is just from the baby's perspective. So maybe they don't see that, hey, the parents keeping an eye, because they're playing games.
I also want to say that it's probably in baby time. Yeah. So when you're younger, time moves a lot differently than it does when you're an adult. So they go on these crazy adventures and whatever, and they take so long and all of this stuff happens. It maybe happened in the span of an hour or 45 minutes or something, not necessarily a whole day. Because these babies are still napping and stuff,
Yeah.
Which I also love that they incorporate into their adventures because they all wake up from nap time and they're like, oh, Tommy's still sleeping. Let's go play over there.
Yeah.
It was so, honestly, it was so cute how they all just oh, he's still doing his thing.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah. It's very cute. It's very sweet. They're all very sweet with each other. I love it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Alrighty. So on that note, we'll go ahead and get started. First on our list is the indomitable Tommy Pickles.
Oh, God, Tommy.
I love Tommy. Oh, my God. Okay, they started showing All Grown Up, and I was around that age, and I developed a crazy crush on Tommy.
Oh, my God. I admittedly did not watch All Grown Up. I believe I did watch some of like the Rugrats original, and I remember going to McDonald's to collect the watches from the Happy Meal. Do you remember that?
God. I remember it vaguely, but my family... So it's funny, my mom actually, when we got into high school, because she was working and all this stuff, would do fast food more. But when we were little, we didn't do a ton of fast food. Because she was a stay-at-home mom for a long time.
We don't do fast food, period.
We didn't really do it, but I had a cousin who was, I think, in her teens at that time, who worked there. So we would go visit her at the drive-thru. And that's when we would get like the Happy Meals and whatever, and she would get us like the watches we were missing, which was fun.
That's fantastic. I love it.
So yeah, Tommy.
All three of us want to say something. All three of us are like
Gryffindor.
See, I see Hufflepuff.
He's the adventure one.
I could see that. However, as we were rewatching it, I definitely see a lot of his like bold and brash, like, let's go fucking do this. Like, I'm gonna go face this.
That's what I see.
I need to get this done. I'm gonna go climb my dog and a bucket and a box and a table and a chair to go. What was he getting from the top shelf?
His ball. He was going to get his ball because his ball was there, and that's his ball. And that's what I'm saying. He's loyal even to his toys. And the one of the things we rewatched was the Paris movie.
Yeah.
The Rugrats Lost in Paris.
Mm-hmm. Is that the one I fell asleep watching?
No, yes, it might be. I think it was. But he spends that whole movie doing whatever he can because Chucky is sad. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, yeah, we're going to do all this shit because my friend is sad and my friend needs me. And
again, I've totally mentioned this to you before that I do that when I'm trying to make people feel better. And I'm Griff. Like, I'm again, all the way. For my pride, I will go all the fucking way to make you fucking smile.
Yes, I think that it's a very Gryffindor way to go about cheering someone up.
Yes.
It's not more of a comfort thing. It's a let's do something about it.
Yes.
That makes him a
that's
Gryffindor.
Exactly what I said that do. I'm like, I'm going to go do something that person loves because I know it's going to make them smile and distract them from this thing that they're getting sad about.
Yeah. Instead of, I just want to cheer you up, I'll do whatever it takes. It's not like, here, I'll sit with you. What if Chucky just wanted to sit and wallow and cry and eat a cookie and with milk?
I mean, he does stuff like that too.
He does, but his instinct is to go do something.
It's to go fix it.
He wants to go find the princess. They go through the whole fucking park to get there, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah.
I don't know. For me, for whatever reason, it's just not like connecting. It's not there. Like, especially like, do you guys remember? We didn't watch this one together, but do you guys remember the first Rugrats movie with Dill, when Dill is born, and everyone keeps telling Dill like, "Fuck this baby, let's return him back to the baby store."
Even Tommy.
Tommy, yes. Sorry, there's so many names. They keep telling Tommy like, "Let's bring this baby back to the baby store. This baby is horrible. Like, we don't want to do this." And Tommy is the one that's like, no, I have responsibilities. My parents are trusting me. This is my baby brother. And through they dump on Tommy in that movie. And there's like one moment of weakness where he's like, no. And then Dill starts crying and he's just like immediately back like, oh, it's okay, Dill. He sings him a little song. He gives him the whole blanket all to himself. He doesn't even need to share it for himself. I see Tommy as very much, he's still very bold and he's very brave. I'm not going to say he's not, but I see him as very much doing things that are brave, but it's not because they're brave. He does it for the sake of his friends and his family because all he wants is to see them happy. And he's very much like, yeah, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to be, fearless. And again, Hufflepuffs can be fearless too. Badgers can be fucking crazy asses.
Yeah.
But he does it. His drive isn't bravery, impulse, rashness. I want to be the driving force. I want to be the center of attention. He doesn't mind not being the center of attention. He just wants his family to be happy and he wants his friends to be happy. And he
also is the de facto leader.
He is the de facto leader, but he's also very much like, he has his little people and these are his people. And that comes through a lot with his interactions with Dill. Like, he is the best fucking big brother.
And okay, so that's where I was gonna say, and like honestly, everything that you said led me more again to Gryffindor, because I don't think that Gryffindors are always like, oh, I'm gonna go do this because I want to be the center of attention. Again, that has to do with your pride. Like, I do things for people. I hardly do things for myself.
Yeah,
hardly ever do things for myself. I do things for other people, and again, I think he just knew the role that he needed to take. And he took the role as a big brother. And I think that's also part of Gryffindor is like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do this, but I know that I have the bravery and courage to fucking figure it out and to just take it on. And I think that's what he does. I don't think that the bravery and courage has to come from somewhere like, I want to be the center of attention. I think it comes from, this is the responsibilities that I have to take care of right now. This is the sacrifice that I need to make. This is what I need to do. And I'm going to go and do it. And I'm not going to be shy about it. I'm not going to try to figure out some other way. Like, I'm just going to do it because I need to do it. And again, he is that leader and he takes them on. And I think a lot of the times we forget that part of being a lion is also loyal. And I think that that's where those like key traits that overlap is that, yes, I can see a lot of those Hufflepuff qualities, but I think that they're also more leaning towards Gryffindor than Hufflepuff.
I see what you're saying. I just still see that really big disconnect of like...
Of doing I don't even so know. Much of...
I don't even know how to explain it. I feel like it's... Because part of it for me too is he's not scared of things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But...
Exactly. How many times have we said that the Hufflepuff is the one sitting in the back because they don't want to be involved in stuff?
Yeah, but here's the thing is that, like, can it really be bravery if you're not scared?
Because then it's that stupid luck. Again, that's where that fearlessness comes from. Like, I could die. Okay, let's go.
I don't know. Like, maybe a little bit going into all grown up a little bit too, but like he definitely, as he gets older, he takes a back seat in the show. Because as a baby, he's very much the center of attention because he's the leader and
and they're always at his house.
Like
it's definitely way more focused around Tommy.
Like even the opening scene, like the title and everything, it's about him.
Yeah, and that's why
it follows him around.
And I think they designed the show in that way because they didn't get to explore all the other characters. They're like, we already know a lot about Tommy, and I'm sure people like want to see him grown up, and they see him grown up. Like, I watched this show because I'm like, oh my god, I get to see these grown. Like, I literally grew up with these people, and so exactly in that same essence, I feel like they just gave them the chance to explore all the other characters a lot more.
Yeah,
as opposed to like he steps back.
They made Tommy a lot more supportive in that, and I think a lot of it of where I see Tommy is coming from that is they made him a lot more. He does things. He does so much to support Chucky, especially in All Grown Up, and he does so much to support his friends in general in All Grown Up. And he takes a lot more of a back seat, and he's a lot more like just like he's not so much the like let's go and do something. He's a lot more timid too when he's grown up, when he's learned fear.
The more we think about, the more you're talking about it, I'm seeing Harry in that same essence. Like, I have shit to do. I'm taking care of my friends. I'm gonna go do it. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. And it's not like, yes, he says I am the chosen one, but he doesn't necessarily want to be. Like,
he chooses to do those things. Like, Harry didn't necessarily want to be the chosen one, but he was, so he embraced it.
And he knew that he had to do it. He knew that was his responsibility.
And so Tommy, how are you tying this to Tommy?
Literally everything.
The same?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's, again, he takes on the responsibility of being the big brother. He is the leader of their little pack, however the case. And he's a supportive leader. He's not like, I'm going to decide everything we do. Let's just,
Mm-hmm.
Why are you guys trying to convince me Gryffindor and you're convincing me Slytherin instead?
I don't think he's manipulative or strategic in any way.
I don't think he's manipulative, but he's definitely strategic. He's always the guy with the plan. He keeps a fucking screwdriver in his diaper so that he can escape from his little pen. He's always the guy like, okay, we're going to go do this, this, and this. And I don't think he's as brash and impulsive as a Gryffindor, but he definitely still is the leader. He's very much the driving force. And he's still loyal, but not like Hufflepuff loyal. But he's got his people, and these are his people, and this is his bitches, and he's gonna ride or die with these guys. Like, the more we're talking about it, the more. Like I said, I started out Hufflepuff, and you guys started out Gryffindor. But for whatever reason, we're arguing back and forth. And the more we're arguing, I'm like, why does Slytherin keep popping into my head? But the more we go on, the more it pops into my head of
He is the problem solver.
He's the problem solver.
He's the one who gets them out. He gets them into a lot of shit, but he also gets them out.
He gets them out, and he's very much like, no, you're not. He's got his people, and he's going to be loyal to his people, End of story, no matter what they do. But he's also always, he's the man with the plan. He's always the one that has something, he's thinking of something, and he gets kind of weird and awkward about it, but he's like, okay, this is what we're doing, we're going to figure it out because we have to. Not because, and I'm being kind of mean to Gryffindor today. I'm sorry. But like, I feel like Gryffindors, it's not always, but sometimes it's more of I want to. And you were even making the comparison to Harry. But when you think about it, Harry was almost sorted into Slytherin. Yeah. So like, it could be that that's part of his Slytherin side is I don't want to, I have to. Where Gryffindors are generally, not always, but generally they tend to be more of like, I want to come be the center of attention and I want to be the leader, where a lot of the times with Slytherin, it's more, I have to be because nobody else can, or like things like that. And the more we talk about Tommy and how, yeah, he has these Gryffindor characteristics but not these ones, and he has these Hufflepuff characteristics and not these ones, I'm seeing more Slytherin as we go.
I still say Gryffindor. I
just don't think he's as smart as a Slytherin. Like I said, I feel like Slytherins. I feel like Slytherins are more of that evil genius, and I think I personally still have a really annoying stigma towards like the evilness of Slytherins. And for me, when a person is a Slytherin, not that they're evil, but they have like I don't know, there's an air to it that it's like, oh, I can sense a little bit of a Slytherin. I don't know. I don't know.
I think Slytherins have more of a selfish vibe than...
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Vibe. Not that they are completely selfish, but they have more of a... There's an ultimate reason for this. And I feel like...
I think Tommy just likes to go on adventures.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tommy just wants to be out doing stuff. Because, yeah, he is the man with the plan or whatever, but he's not sitting there planning.
Yeah, that's where I'm
he comes up with a plan at the
problem solver in terms of like, this is what I know, this is what I'm
like. He's just ready for the adventure. Like, yeah, he has his screwdriver because he doesn't want to be trapped in that playpen.
Mm-hmm. That almost makes it more impressive, though, if he's coming up with this stuff on the fly. Where I feel like Gryffindor would just kind of like be like, okay.
No, that's that street mud we were talking about that comes into the fly, because that's quick. Yeah, I don't know. This is way more difficult than I thought.
Fuck
yeah.
They're also babies, and
they are.
We develop our core values through that time, like our personality shines through in that first year. That our personalities as humans, as people, personalities, and what we learn and what we believe are our core values develop. Again, these kids are getting sorted. These babies are getting sorted.
Yes, they are. This is true.
But yeah, anyway.
They are characters though, and they definitely gave them their own characteristics.
They gave them more mature characteristics as well. They're not just baby brain.
No, they definitely did.
They gave them huge imaginations, and they definitely make some really big leaps.
One of my favorite
judgments
that I noticed when we were rewatching is like all the little words that they say wrong because they think
I always loved it so much.
It's so good.
There's
like me trying to speak English.
There's something in my brain where I think it's so cute when little kids mispronounce things. But at the same time, my Ravenclaw brain is just like, you're not saying it right.
Aww.
And I don't want you to feel bad because you're not saying it right, but you should be saying it right.
But it's bothering me that you're not saying it right.
Yeah.
I just think it's adorable. I got sponsitilities now. Oh my god, I freaking love it. Angelica too. Fuck, he's so loyal to Angelica and he has no reason to be. He has no reason to support that bitch. Angelica fucks with him every chance she gets.
Because she's family.
Exactly, but she's family. But he's so, like, that's still his people. No matter how much of a bitch she is to him, he's still going to be like, no, you're one of mine.
That's probably the only Hufflepuff trait that I do see. I'm like, regardless of what you do to me, I'm going to love you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's about it, though. I still see Gryffindor.
Yeah, because, again, their pride. It's like, I don't know. I feel like in that sense, Mufasa is Tommy and Angelica's Scar. It's like, I don't really like you and I don't want you to be around, but I do want you to be around because you're my brother and I love you.
But Tommy never gets that, I don't like you and I don't want to be around. Tommy is always just like, yeah, Angelica, come with us. Yeah, Angelica, come
Well, he did expect him to be there at his brother's or at his Simba's ceremony, and he wasn't. I don't know. That was. I don't know.
I do see the Hufflepuff in that, as in, like, they can't really do anything about Angelica being there, so he is trying to be nice about trying to include her.
He never seems grudging about it, though.
Yeah.
He's always very welcoming to her. I feel like a Gryffindor or even a Ravenclaw would have been more grudging about it. Whereas a Hufflepuff or a Slytherin is more like, you're mine, you're my people. Even if you're a bitch, you're mine. A Gryffindor and a Ravenclaw would have been like, no, fuck off. Like, if you're going to be that the way to me, like, you can go fucking jump off a cliff. I don't know, at least in my mind, the Hufflepuff and the Slytherin are going to be more like, no, you're my people. And
it depends. It really does depend on the relationship with that person, because I have definitely endured more with someone who is family, who, like, I grew up with, than I would have someone that is not.
Ditto.
And also, all of this happens in a very small time frame for them all to stay within the same age.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think that affects that much, because there are people in my family to this day that I will still interact with, that I will still gladly include in specific activities when we are in the same vicinity, but I have no contact outside of that realm.
See, but that's the difference. You have contact with them when you're in the same vicinity, you're polite.
No,
Tommy invites Angelica places.
What do you mean? Like,
he says, we're going this place. You want to come, Angelica? He invites her places. Whereas you're just like, I'm not going to have contact with you unless I have to. And you're still going to be polite, and you're still going to have positive contact.
No. In that same context, if we are, because he's not going by himself with outside people. He's going with the babies, right?
Yeah, that's all we see them interact with.
Right. So I still do that with this person that I'm thinking of.
I don't know. I just don't see it. I just really don't see it. And it's not to say that, again, it's not to say that he's not a Gryffindor. Brave-wise, I don't see the brashness. I don't see the impulsiveness. I see a lot more.
Well, they don't all have to
Hufflepuff,
be impulsive.
Badger.
What about Neville Longbottom?
He had his moments. I see a lot more of the Badger burrowing down or just being snarky. I don't know. I feel like we've argued it enough. If you guys are still not convinced, I can't really do much about it. But for me, I just don't see it.
I guess this is just an outvoted one.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So Tommy Pickles.
Gryffindor!
You sound very sad.
Yeah.
I was a little, I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bit, because like I said, I really don't see it, and I love Tommy.
So you don't love Slytherin? Or wait, you don't love Gryffindors?
No, I
She
just
doesn't see him as a
if I don't
Gryffindor.
see him as it's not that I don't like Gryffindors. It's that if like for me, when I love a character and I don't see them in the house that they end up sorted into, I get a little sad. But that's okay.
Suck it up,
Moving
Buttercup.
on. Chucky.
No, this
Now
one.
Chucky, I see as a Gryffindor.
I didn't know what to place him
why.
in. I have blank.
Chucky is very much. He is scared of fucking everything, but he still goes.
Still follows.
He still follows. He still goes, and he becomes a lot more bold in All Grown Up. He becomes a lot more like, we're gonna go do this, because he's trying to emulate his friends, especially Tommy, who are brave, who are not scared of. No, fuck off. I mean, yes, in the context of this. Anyways,
Am I gonna say Ron and Harry here?
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Where he's very much trying to emulate. You're fucking proving my point, though, because Harry, like I said, was almost sorted into Slytherin.
Literally, that's why.
Almost.
Because he chose not to be. Tommy might not have chosen that. So, anyways,
I think he would have.
I don't think he would have. Chucky. We're not talking about Tommy anymore. I got so distracted. Chucky sees his friends and wants to be brave like them, so he's a lot more bold and out there. But even as a baby, he's scared of all of this shit, and he still goes and he does it. And I feel like that's like crazy brave of him.
But does he do it to prove himself to himself, prove his bravery to himself, or does he do it out of loyalty?
I was gonna say this is where again the Slytherin in Gryffindor and the Hufflepuff in Gryffindor.
So you can't say he's a Slytherin and Gryffindor. I'm not getting into this.
Well, that's part of the again. That's obviously a huge part, because I mean that's literally how the main three characters in the entirety of the show end up, because they all have those inside qualities, but they all chose to be
Gryffindor.
In Gryffindor. And again, yes, I can see those.
I can see. Look, I don't want to get back into Tommy.
We spent quite some time on Tommy.
Keep backtracking. Tommy's hard.
Well, because they do things for each other. They fucking grew up since they were babies. These two are literally best friends from diapers. That's why we can't talk about one without the other. Yes, we can, but we can't. That's like, I don't think we're backtracking. I think we're just using more of the evidence of their interactions.
Yeah.
And
because the whole show, it's like them together.
It is.
Exactly.
Like when they think Tommy is turning into a werewolf.
Oh my god, I loved that.
And
that
Chucky's
was so
like,
cute.
I'll just sit here.
He was so, and that's exactly too. He's just like, I'll just sit here and stay with you. And he's terrified, but he still sits there. I see Gryffindor.
You see, okay.
Especially again, as he gets older and he's more, because he starts doing it more for himself and less for Tommy.
Point though, who is he? Why is he overcoming that fear? Is it for himself or is it for someone else?
It ends up being more for himself. As time goes on, he starts doing it more for him.
It ends up being for himself. But in that moment... I think
it's one of those two birds, one stone...
Yeah.
And again, like a lot of times you end up learning about yourself through your friends, because obviously you choose your friends you're attracted to your friends for a reason. Mm-hmm. And your friends are always going to be there to help you grow. And I think that's just one of those things.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not arguing against Gryffindor. I'm just...
No, exactly. You're bringing up a point.
Okay,
that's the point of this podcast. Because I could see Hufflepuff too. But I just see more Gryffindor for Chucky.
Oh man!
Just because of, again, how bold he gets and how much he ends up being like, he wants to be the center of attention. He wants to be. We watched a couple of Rugrats episodes, and we watched the movie, and then we also watched the first episode of All Grown Up, the one where he is trying to skip out of gym class
for the president thing.
And that's where I see a lot of the impulsiveness too, where he's like, yeah, I'm going to skip out on gym class, and I'm just going to go hide in the bathroom.
I was hiding. Chucky, you skipped class? Yeah, I was hiding in the nurse's office.
Yeah, he's very cute. But he goes and he decides to hide in the bathroom because the teacher's coming by. So then he grabs onto a pipe and he breaks the pipe and floods the bathroom.
I was literally, as I was watching that, I was like, fuck, I would get myself stuck in that.
You would.
And I would be climbing like all monkey style on these pipes trying to prevent it from...
And that's why he's not a Ravenclaw, because I figured out a way to get out of the hardest part of gym, to not do it and just be out of it and not have to do it at all.
And that's where Tommy's the voice of reason. He's the one trying to tell Chucky, like, no, don't fucking do that. I keep going back to Tommy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, huh?
I'm like, I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Anyways, Chucky. So yeah, Chucky's
Gryffindor.
Yeah?
I'm
okay.
with that.
I agree.
So Chucky Finster.
Gryffindor!
Finster.
I know, I love his name. Okay. Phil.
We're doing Phil and Lil separately?
Yeah, there's two individual people.
I know. I'm just making sure.
Yes, but
they are twins.
Fred and George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally put Fred and George question mark.
All right, Phil and Lil.
Like, come on.
Phil and Lil. I also, though, I don't see them in the same house.
You don't?
Mm-mm. So we'll talk about them together. We'll talk about them together.
Yeah. So Phil and Lil together. And then we can sort them into different houses if we so choose to do.
Yes, this is true. So Phil and Lil, who are fucking adorable. I love Phil and Lil.
I just love how gross they are.
They're so gross.
And at the same time, I hate it. Because I like making a mess, but I hated being dirty. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, Ravenclaw.
I just loved everything about them. They were two of my favorites. Lil was another character in All Grown Up. I got a crazy crush on Lil.
I gotta say, I liked Lil in that episode we watched.
She was awesome.
Where she makes herself her own person.
Yeah, and that's the theme of the first episode for Phil and Lil, is that Lil is starting to feel like trapped in this role of the twin. And so she starts trying to gain her own personality, her own independence. But then they start making fun of her brother and she goes back to him. And this is leading up to my thoughts on their houses. For me, I saw Lil in Slytherin and Phil in Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
I do not disagree. And I have no argument.
That was great. I was like waiting for my... For me, just for clarification's sake, I will say for me, it's mostly because of Phil is so loyal to her. He's so loyal to everybody around him. He's just a good guy. I fucking love Phil.
Yeah.
And Lil is, again, she's very loyal, but she's also
Phil
very much,
does not mind being attached at the hip.
He does not.
Lil
is the one that's like, I've got my own ideas. I've got my own ambitions. I've got my own shit going on. And she leads him around a couple times.
Yes. I also want to say that she was the one that, like, I don't know if it's because she's a girl and she was, you can kind of tell that she kind of had a crush on that kid.
She did a little bit, yeah.
If that had anything to do with the fact that she wanted to separate herself from her gross brother. Coming in, the whole thing about girls maturing faster than boys mature. Mm-hmm. And what do you think would have happened if it was the other way around? What if Phil had a crush on a girl? Would he have tried to separate himself from Lil? I don't think he would.
I don't think he would have. I think he has a crush on a girl at one point in the show, if I remember right. It's been a while since I've seen a lot of the.
I never watched that, except for that episode that we watched.
Fair, yeah, but yeah, no, he's so loyal to his family, to his, and they're family at this point. They grew up together, they were babies together. Mm-hmm. They're family at this point. He's so loyal to his family. He's loyal to his family from jump through. Mm-hmm. And he's very loyal to his sister, and his sister is loyal to him, but I feel like for different reasons and from different motivations.
She's loyal to him because they're family.
Yes. And she loves
more
him.
Than because she likes him.
Yes.
There's a difference between familial love and liking someone.
Well, they also like each other too, because they get along really well. It's but that episode was not all the time, no. But that episode was very much them arguing, but they spend a lot of time together, and familiarity breeds fondness, but also contempt sometimes.
That is also so they're 11, 12?
They're 11.
They're 11. That is also the time where girls start going into puberty.
It is.
So I totally understand her wanting her own room too, like her own space, her own privacy.
Yeah.
From an 11-year-old boy who's very nosy and gross.
She's real gross, though. She said it. She's like, it's fun to be gross, okay?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's times to be gross, and then there's times to not be gross. And he's just kind of gross all the time.
Fair. Just looked it up. Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, Dill, and Kimi now range ages from 9 to 11. Mm-hmm. So Dill is 9. The rest of the kids are 10, except for Chucky, who is 11.
And Angelica is like 13.
And Angelica and Susie are 13.
Yeah.
So,
Susie's the one with the easy bake oven thing, right?
Yeah, okay. Susie was the one with the easy bake oven. That was one of the ones we watched too, was the Reptar bars with the easy bake oven where they're trying to be nice. And that was a thing too. I can't keep going back to Tommy. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, forget about Tommy.
I just keep coming up with more reasons why he's a Hufflepuff.
Too late.
So, but yeah.
Phil and Lil.
Phil and Lil are Phil and Lil.
Awesome.
So Phil DeVille.
Hufflepuff.
And Lil DeVille.
Slytherin.
Oh my God, their last names.
So sad.
Yeah.
He would be really sad to be sorted away from her. They got sorted.
His heart would break.
His heart would be so broken. It makes me sad, but like
they're not actually going to Hogwarts.
Lil would love it.
Lil would love it. Lil would be so stoked.
Love it. She'd
be
like,
she would miss him, but she'd thrive.
Yeah, exactly.
She would. And Phil would be the one that's like gonna go eat at the Slytherin table every morning because hey, I'm gonna go sit with my sister.
Yeah.
And fuck you all.
Yeah. I love him so much.
Again, Slytherin Hufflepuff dynamic.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Kimi.
Hey, why are you looking at me? Ravenclaw? I don't know.
See, I saw as Gryffindor.
I don't know. I don't know.
She's much more of that brash for brashness' sakes, impulsive.
I don't remember much about Kimi. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm trying to remember anything beyond just the movie, the France movie, where she was born.
Yep.
She was born in France.
This is true.
Yeah. Do people know Kimi? If you only watched the Rugrats show and you didn't watch the movies, then
she was in a lot of the
Rugrats
shows.
She comes out after the movie.
Yeah,
don't they move?
The movie. Again, if they didn't watch the movie.
This is true, but there were still a lot of episodes where Kimi was in
I don't know.
We should have watched some of those.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to remember, but from what I can remember from they were in Paris, I guess those were, again, the same reason why I thought Tommy was Gryffindor, because they kind of reminded me of each other. Or, like, they kind of felt like they had the same vibe of, like, they left the restaurant and they're like, yeah, let's go get the princess. Like, yeah, okay, I know the way. Let's go.
Yeah.
Or they were in the ride. They were in that.
Oh, and she's like, "Oh, let's go this way."
Yeah, they were in that slimy.
The
slimy
goo.
one.
Yeah.
Wait, let's go.
Oh yeah.
So I can see.
Okay, Gryffindor.
All right.
Yeah.
That was easy.
Well, yeah, we didn't have a lot to go.
Kimi Finster.
Gryffindor!
Angelica Pickles.
Pickles. I like their last names. She's a
They're great.
Slytherin.
She is. She's hella Slytherin.
She like manipulates everyone,
She does.
including her parents.
Including her parents. Including her friends. Including her cousin.
Hi,
Yeah.
Azula.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
However, how does she go about things?
I mean,
'Cause we
she
did put
straight up
Azula in
lies
Gryffindor.
and makes up her own stories to scare the kids into doing stuff
Yeah, no.
or not doing stuff.
She is always got some sort of plan. She's always got some sort of scheme.
She always gets away. Almost always gets away with it.
She almost always gets away with it because
Or
she knows how to
gets
play
her
people.
way.
Because she knows how to play people.
She freaking watched The Godfather and then decided she was the Godfather.
God,
and then made the kids
Hilarious.
play Godfather.
This is true. The few times though you
You
see
come to
outside
me.
presences, I know, right? The few times though that you see outside presences messing with the babies, because she messes with them all she
Yes.
wants. But the few times you see outside presences messing with the babies, all of a sudden it's okay. Hold on.
Messing with Tina is a privilege, not a right.
Yes, she very much. Do you remember that? It was an episode, or it might have been 2 episodes with the McNultys. Do you guys remember the McNultys?
No.
They were the anti-Rugrats. So it was this group of brothers that were legitimately, there was the older kid that bossed them around, like Angelica. There was the baby that had a screwdriver in his diaper, like Tommy. There were the twins, like Phil and Lil. And there was the nervous one, like Chucky.
Was there a baby?
They were at the park. What's up?
Was there a baby?
I think there was a baby. I don't remember 100%. It's been a while since I watched it. But basically, it was like the mirror of the Rugrats. And there were a couple episodes where they had like the baby Olympics. And these kids were like messing with the babies. And Angelica was like, no, my babies are better. Like, fuck you. It was the funniest thing.
I kind of remember it as you're talking about it.
Yeah, it was real good.
It's somewhere in my brain, and I want to say I remember it, but I can't.
I want to say that I remember some kind of like standoff between these two.
Yeah.
Okay.
They legit.
Was Tommy wearing a cowboy hat?
I think he was. I think there was a cowboy thing going
I
on.
about the important aspects, but I just remember this one random detail.
I remember the cowboy hat. Mhm.
100%. So
Angelica.
Yeah. Angelica Pickles.
Slytherin!
Was that one of the easier ones too?
A little bit, yeah. Susie Carmichael.
Oh, Susie.
Okay.
Susie's a little harder because she flits in and out.
Yes.
Like more even
There's
so than
not
Kimi.
so much. She's not so present.
No, she's there longer than Kimi. She's there from the beginning of the show, but she's only in certain episodes. Unlike Kimi, once Kimi's there, she's part of the main cast.
And
Susie never is.
some episodes she's rarely in, like the one with the Easy Bake Oven that I referenced earlier. The whole show is about her making these cereal bars or whatever for the kids, these Reptar cereal bars, and that nobody likes them. But the only time that she's there is when she's giving them the cereal bars. Like, she's not part of the whole story.
Yeah. Honestly, the deciding factor for me, and the only reason I have somewhere to put her, is an all grown up episode where, and this is an episode that you see in like procedural shows a lot, is where there's a young girl who's very talented because Susie can sing, who gets taken in by a con artist and almost gets abducted because she goes to meet with this guy who says that, oh, I can get you a record deal.
So you're saying she's a Gryffindor?
I'm saying she's a Gryffindor. That's just really all I have. There's not much.
I have not much to go on either.
You say that makes her that because
She's attention
selfish,
seeking.
attention seeking.
Not so much. It's just more impulsive. It was more just the impulsiveness of like, oh yeah, I'm going to go talk to this stranger without thinking things through.
Without telling anyone.
I don't remember if she told anybody. It's been a while since I watched it, but I don't think she did.
She might have told the other Rugrats, but I don't think she told any adults.
No, she 100% didn't tell any adults because they would have stopped her.
Or gone with her.
Yeah.
Because a minor can't sign contracts.
No, they cannot.
Or legally binding contracts.
No, but I don't think that's what they wanted her for. I don't remember 100%. It might have been trying to get money from her or something like that rather than something. I don't remember because I'm not remembering if they go into it like that fully and like that dark. Mm-hmm. But I remember there was some episode like that where someone is trying to take advantage of her for her voice and she falls for it because she's so eager to just jump in. And that's really all I have. That's unfortunately. Because other than that, she's mostly just there to be a foil to Angelica.
Yeah. But how does she foil Angelica?
Yeah, okay, that's how we can maybe get at this, is their dynamic. Because, again, Angelica is a freaking bitch who completely, like, takes advantage of her and is super mean to her. And what does she do? She's just like, okay, Angelica. Like, she just, like, brushes her off and she's, like,
yeah, she's
is
also,
super kind to her and is, like, still wants to, like, will take care of her as her friend, but will say it in a very sassy and very mean I guess.
Yeah.
She's more of a like, yeah, you're not the only one around here that's your age and that knows things. Mm-hmm. Is more of her way of doing things. Like whenever she like gets the kids out of whatever Angelica has conned them into, she's very much like,
why is that song coming into my head? Do you guys remember the song where Angelica is trying to convince them? I think it's like a monster. She's trying to convince them there's a monster after them. And Susie comes and she's like, don't listen to her stories. Don't listen to her lies. She always tells you lies. And da-da-da-da-da. Tiki Prince. I think it's the one where they get stranded on the island. The one with the wild thornberries.
Oh.
And she's trying to talk about the Tiki curse or whatever because Angelica wants the babies to do everything she says. And Susie's the one that's like, don't listen to her. She's just trying to lie to you. She's always manipulating you guys and blah, 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 blah. And that's not true. There is no Tiki monster. There's no curse.
Yeah. So what does that make her?
I feel like that supports Gryffindor. They're like the Gryffindor Slytherin siblings, for lack of a better term, because they're not actually related, but, you know, they grew up together, so siblings. They're the Gryffindor Slytherin siblings who get on each other's fucking nerves all the time.
I have no argument against it.
All right.
Yeah.
Susie Carmichael.
Gryffindor!
I didn't know I remembered her last name until I said it, and then I was like, oh yeah.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
And
again, another detail.
Last but never ever least, Dill Pickles.
Aw, Dill. He's a Hufflepuff.
He kind of is.
Like, he just is. Even that episode of Grown Ups, like, he just wants to be a twin.
He wants to
or a triplet.
He's so fucking weird.
He just wants to be part of everything.
He does. He wants to be part of everything.
And I totally identify with that. Because I was the younger sibling. I was the youngest cousin that nobody wanted around.
They're all really sweet about involving him in everything, too. I fucking love it.
Yeah, my family wasn't like that. But anyways, yeah, I was the one that was always tagging along, and I would get annoyed. I realize now that I was fucking annoying. But, yeah, I identify with him in that aspect. But that's also what made me a Ravenclaw. I'm not saying that he is. But
I could see Ravenclaw. He has his moments of like, and that's more of an all grown up thing. So, but he is a smart kid, and he definitely like he knows about his shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Doesn't he come up with wasn't there an episode where he was like creating a bunch of gadgets?
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Like his dad?
I don't know. Yeah.
He does create stuff sometimes.
I've said this many times today. I did not watch Grown Up, so
yeah,
I'm going off of that one episode that we watched.
Yeah, no, he does invent things. It's not for the same reason as his dad, because his dad is a toy inventor.
Right.
Okay.
He was just in the inventor aspect.
In the inventor aspect,
well, no, his dad tried inventing that door stopper that almost killed everyone.
That's true.
His Inventors. Dad didn't only
invent toys, but he focuses mainly on toys.
Because Reptar is the one that made him the most money.
Well,
and those are also
part of it is just he's making toys for his kids.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like some stuff to entertain his kids, and he's like, "Well, this works. Let's market it."
Yeah. But Dill a couple times does like he makes inventions for his interests, where he'll make things to talk to aliens and like things like that.
Oh, if that's not a Ravenclaw thing.
The more we're talking about that, actually.
I love Dill.
We do need a Ravenclaw. I don't think we've been in a Ravenclaw.
Not so far. I can see him in Ravenclaw. He's very
eccentric.
Oh
my god, he's Luna.
He kind of is.
He is super weird, quirky Luna.
Do you remember the episode where he spends the whole day walking backwards?
Yes.
And he puts all his clothes on backwards. And then there's one where he like walks on his hands all day.
Why?
Just because. I don't even remember.
He just wanted to see things in a different perspective.
I think I'm seeing eccentric Ravenclaw.
Yeah. I also have to point out his hat.
He has a good
What
hat.
is the thing at the end of his hat? Is it the little chatter? I don't know what it's called.
He has
the
little chatter teeth.
Mouth clattering.
You know that little like the wind up mouth?
Dentures?
Yeah, the wind up mouth dentures.
It's just
he has one of those on the end of his hat,
which he wears all the time.
Yeah. The more we're talking about, the more I'm seeing Ravenclaw.
Is it a striped hat?
It's the stripes, like the chulo. Is that what it's called? The chulo hat.
I don't know.
I think it's called a chulo. Am I wrong?
Maybe. Papi chulo. Sorry. When she said chulo, I was like...
It is. It's chulo. It's spelled differently, though. Chullo.
Chuyo.
Yeah, that. And it's the hat with the little things that come down over the ears.
Chuyo.
Oh, my God. No, but so the chulo is the hat with the ears, the things that come down over your ears, and like the little tie on the bottom. Which is really cute because that's supposed to tie under your chin, I think. But like, I don't think I've ever seen a person in real life actually tie that under their chin.
If you've gone to the snow, then you have. Especially
really?
With a beard.
I have seen snow very few times in my life.
I have not seen snow in person in the last decade.
So
we're going this winter. Anyway, that's
Anyways,
the point.
The point is he has a little chulo hat and he has chattering teeth as the bauble, and it's cute.
And I love it. And I think it's part of his Luna-ness.
Yeah.
Eccentric Ravenclawness.
The eccentric Ravenclaw. So, Dill Pickles.
Ravenclaw!
And that is it, folks. That's all we got for today. Yeah, that was a good one. That was fun.
We spent so much, literally a third of this podcast on Tommy.
Yeah, because I'm not
a good character.
As we kept going too, I kept coming up with more like I stopped a couple times and had to like stop myself, but there were more times during this podcast.
Would you like to expose your arguments, because I don't want you to keep them inside?
Yeah, no, please. Here's your last chance.
I don't want you to resent us for shutting you up. So
I don't. That's not it.
I did, but please.
I just like the more we talked about these other characters and his relationship with these other characters, Dill follows him around like freaking a magnet, and he's so good. He's such a good brother to Dill, especially in All Grown Up, where he's like facilitating his like growing to adulthood, and he's so like just sweet and patient with Dill, and he's such a fucking hard worker with all of his interests and shit like that. Peeves wouldn't know this. He decides that he wants to be a filmographer. He wants to go into film. He wants to be a director. And he works his ass off and makes his own movies and makes his own props and all this shit. And that's another thing too against Gryffindor, because a Gryffindor would want to be part of the action. He wants to be behind the scenes. He wants to be directing everything. He wants to be the person making the story happen and making all this shit happen. And again, in control of everything. But he's so good to his brother and he's so sweet to him. And the same thing with Kimi. As time goes on, as Kimi's becoming, because Kimi is very much that bold, brave Gryffindor. And Tommy actually holds her back a couple of times where he's like, okay, wait, no, calm down, breathe for a second, take a second. And he's able to kind of play as that foil to her a little bit more once she comes on the scene. And I really...
That just sounds like a mature Gryffindor.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me too.
He's not immature though. The oldest we see him as is 10.
Okay, yeah, but again, maturity level has nothing to do with your age. Absolutely nothing.
It's
and I will say that so many times.
Tied to your age. Loosely tied to your age.
It has absolutely nothing to do with
that's
your
true
age.
about the maturity. But it's the way that he interacts with people and the things that motivate him. The things that motivate him aren't his own. And it's not to say that it's the only thing that can motivate a Gryffindor is internal motivation and your own selfishness or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that Gryffindors, they tend to be more impulsive and not think about the consequences, not think about And not all the time, but they have those moments of like not really thinking about the people around them and not really thinking about
Tommy has never been impulsive?
I'm not saying he's never been impulsive, but I'm saying he tends to be more thoughtful and he tends to think about the people around him. And he's just so loyal and so dedicated to his friends and to his family. And I just see that as a much bigger part of his personality than just the brash, impulsive, brave. And because he's brave, but you don't have to be in Gryffindor to be brave. And I just see, like, I feel like...
Right, and you don't have to be in Hufflepuff to be loyal.
No, you don't.
Which is, I feel like, is the strongest trait that you're trying to argue.
Not so much loyal, but dedicated. I feel like he focuses everything around that, and it's such a big part of his personality. And he's very hardworking. He's very...
What would you consider a good driving characteristic for him to, like, be a Gryffindor?
I mean, you kind of said it when you said he wanted to be a filmmaker.
He wants to be, and that's exactly what he wants to be, behind the scenes. He wants to be the puppeteer. That one's a little bit more
you're literally
Slytherin
describing me. That was the first thing I ever wanted to do, is be a filmmaker, because I like to be behind the scenes, and yes, I like to control the way things go sometimes, but I also let things go. And again, I have a very big commitment to my family. Literally, my fucking life right now is sacrificing for my family. Yeah. I'm not doing what I'm doing right now in my life for myself.
I know. I don't know how to describe it. I see this big delineation between him and Kimi. And Kimi to me is that quintessential Gryffindor, and Tommy is just motivated by different things. And it's not to say that Gryffindors can't be motivated by this stuff. It's just to say that it's
What do you think are Kimi's motivators?
It's not to say that Kimi doesn't love her family and that she isn't loyal to her family, because she very much is. But she's more motivated by, like, hey, this sounds fun. Hey, let's go do this. And she doesn't have that, like, second of pause.
Again, that's a not so mature Gryffindor. Because you have to remember that Gryffindors are, again, the element of fire, and that's the passion. And I think what you're trying to describe in all of it is also his passion. Like, that's where a lot of that drive comes in from. And I just think that that's just, a mature Gryffindor. Like, hey, I kind of figured... I tried to do that same thing you did like a few months back and it didn't work out. Let's try this way. Because yes, there's impulses, and then there's, well, we tried this one. Let's not do that again. Like, you learn from your impulses as a Gryffindor. That's what makes a mature Gryffindor. And I think that's where he's more coming from.
As babies, he was the more out there baby when he was making plans and stuff. So a lot of the times those plans did not work.
No, but also he was a baby, so of course plans aren't going to work all the time. But I feel like a Gryffindor wouldn't have been making plans at all. Not in the beginning, not when you're a baby, not when you're that little. And
okay, I thought we like dismissed the whole baby thing, because obviously these babies have way more developed personalities than actual babies.
Yes, to an extent, but you still have to take into account that they don't have that experience.
Right.
As he doesn't have any sort of experience, but his instinct isn't leap in heads first. His instinct is, what's the plan? Okay, now we have a plan, now we can move.
Again, I said that the other day. I'm like, I'd like having an idea of a plan, and then I'll go through and then handle things as they go. Exactly. It sounds a lot like Gryffindors do just do things impulsively, and they're stupid, and they just go things head on, and whatever the case. But there are those Gryffindors that are smarter about things.
Yeah, and I know there are.
And I think that that's just where he is coming from.
There definitely are, but I feel like a lot of the times those are traits from other houses that, like you said, Gryffindors kind of choose to be in Gryffindor a lot of the times. And
you don't think Tommy would choose
I don't think Tommy would choose to be in Gryffindor. I really don't. Because he wouldn't want to be that obvious, because he's Tommy. But B, it's that I feel like he has a lot of ambition too. He, like I said, he wants to be a director, and he is good at like people, and he's good at like communication and all that stuff. And I feel like he would see that, like, hey, somewhere like Slytherin might help me get there. Or, you know, hey, Hufflepuff, I'm going to have that foundation. I'm going to have that like people to keep me there. I also think too, Phil and Lil would have been sorted ahead of him. He would have seen how upset Phil was. He might have, if it was a tie between Hufflepuff and Gryffindor, he might have gone to Hufflepuff intentionally in support of Phil. Because I feel like that's the kind of friend he is.
But you don't choose to go to Hufflepuff.
The hat takes your opinion into account. And if it was a really close between Hufflepuff and Gryffindor, like for Harry, where it was really close between Gryffindor and Slytherin, and Harry wanted Gryffindor. For Tommy, if it had been really close between Gryffindor and Hufflepuff, he might have said, hey, my friend needs me. And that itself is a Hufflepuff trait almost too. So that would have tipped the scale even if it wasn't because he wanted it.
I'm not convinced. I that same trait, literally, I can see in a Gryffindor doing that. So that's why I don't.
I feel like you relate with Tommy a lot, which is why you're so down Gryffindor.
As we talk about this, I'm realizing that, and I'm not saying it because I want him to be in Gryffindor. I'm simply seeing all those Gryffindor traits that I see in myself in him, and it's literally just coincidental. Like, again, because I haven't thought about the show until you mentioned it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did fucking love Rugrats. Oh yeah, I fucking watched these. I literally hold my pinky up when I drink because of Angelica, and that is to today. And I'm not fucking kidding. I'm 25 years old and I do this one because I fucking learned this when I was 4. Like, okay. But literally, the more we talk about it, I'm like, I literally see all of the Gryffindor traits that I see in myself. And again, like we've said, I fit in all the fucking houses. Yeah. For those same reasons, because I have the collective qualities of like, I literally just do all this. I don't know what else to tell you.
No, and I get that. I just feel like he shows more Hufflepuff traits and even some more Slytherin traits, but more, for the most part, Hufflepuff traits. And he might choose to be in Gryffindor, but I don't think that he would. I could see
how he wouldn't necessarily choose to be in Gryffindor. Yeah. But he does show those Gryffindor traits. And like you said, the connectedness and like, oh, what's going to help me get to that? It's connections, and then you make those connections in Gryffindor as well. Like, you make the connections with people that have those. Everybody, like, they have all that big potential that you want to connect to because those things will get you somewhere else later. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't see him making that decision to be in Gryffindor. I just see him, especially like I said, he might do it in support of his friend. Which, choosing your house and your whole future in support of your friend, there's not a ton of people that would do that. I feel like Tommy's one of the people that would do that. And that screams that loyalty, that like familial loyal drive to me. And he's so hardworking and he's so dedicated. And those are all just such Hufflepuff traits to me that yeah. But if you guys still aren't convinced at this point, I'm not going to convince you.
You're looking at me. I understand why you think that, but I also, a lot of the things that you said just convinced me more towards Gryffindor.
Okay. We're sticking with it then. So we have, back to our list.
Sorry.
No, I'm not. I don't agree, but I'm not like upset about it.
I know, but you're sad.
A little bit, but that's okay.
She'll get over it.
I'll get over it, exactly. So we have, for Gryffindor, Tommy, Chucky, Kimi, and Susie. Mm-hmm. For Hufflepuff, Phil. That's it.
That would make him very sad.
It would make him so sad!
Again, Chucky's also in Gryffindor. He would best friend. All right, just keep going.
For Ravenclaw, we have Dill. And for Slytherin, we have Lil and Angelica.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would have been an interesting dynamic to come across in the hallway.
It really would.
Or in the dorm room.
I love
common
that.
Room.
That would have been amazing.
The common room, because Angelica's 3 years older?
Mm-hmm. 3 years older than them.
3 years older? So she'd be within the age range of like hanging out, but at the same time, not.
Oh, she thinks she's way too cool for these kids. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she doesn't think that, but at the same time, if Lil proved to be like a really good Slytherin, do you think Angelica wouldn't?
I think she would take her under her wing.
Yeah. Oh, she might. That's true.
That's why I said, ooh.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, you don't think that Angelica would want a fellow Slytherin?
This is true.
Mentor?
I think she might have tried, but I think Lil might have resisted a little bit because she might have been like, "You're mean to my friends," and like, Lil was one of those that like resisted Angelica a lot. I feel like in the show, like more so than some of the other babies.
Why they're in the same house?
Yeah,
she was the only girl in the group.
She was also group. For a long time,
and I think that has to do with
until Kimi showed up.
Until Kimi showed up,
yeah. Oh, okay.
So that's what we got. That's what we decided on.
What a podcast.
I know. This one was a doozy, guys.
This was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Over half of it on Tommy. I'm sorry. I was very passionate about that.
Yeah.
So were we. So it just makes for a good podcast.
I wasn't so passionate about it. I just like, I didn't see it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for joining us on this magical journey. Signing off, it's Ron.
Peeves.
And Fred.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.